Hello everyone, this is Paul with Grassman Reef. We just wanted to show off one of our buckets, like an algae scrubber of some kind. But this is extremely effective if you're ever having issues with hair algae or literally anything really. I mean, once you get it growing down here, it's not going to be in your main system, especially if you have something consuming it up there and not down here. But what we have here is a 4x8 vat. And the tube goes down into a 150-gallon Rubbermaid system for live rock. Like, after it's cured in fresh water for about like 6 months, we put it in here and let it kind of get some bacteria on it. But anyway, this is just a cheap light from Lowe's, but very powerful spotlight. What you do is you take a white 5-gallon bucket and drill several holes all over it on the sides, but not the bottom, just in case you don't want little sediment pieces falling into another tank. But we have this light on 4 hours off, 4 hours on, and just for fun, as you can see here, a little bulkhead with a 90. And when the algae fills the holes, and it can flow out, but slowly over time, when enough algae goes in, it'll start coming over the edge there, and we have little V's cut out. But when it gets to that point, just clean it out, and it's extremely effective. Sometimes there's a bit of strange type of cyanobacteria in here, but it's not in the main system, only down here, and that's very interesting. A lot of stomatellas find their way down here, and also if you're running a larger system, if a fish ever accidentally gets in an overflow or something, here's the safety catch again. But pretty basic. Let's get a good view here. Yeah, it's nice and green, very vibrant looking. We just cleaned it out, but basically all you do, it's very easy if you can access it from around the entire area. Just go in, scrape along the bottom, and then just get that algae. But very, very basic. Should have done a video of actually pulling the algae out, but it's very effective. And then down from this, the 150 goes into a sump, and then that has polyfill to catch anything that escapes. But it's just extremely effective to do it like this. 4 hours on, 4 hours off, just a real basic LED. It'll concentrate everything down here. It may take some time for it to grow, but once it does, you'll be doing good. And there's also a lot of coralline growing along here as well. All over the place. That whole bottom there is just coralline. So I guess a healthy system all in all. I mean, you can overfeed and this will take care of any problems. And it fluctuates depending on how much you feed. There's also a skimmer on the system, but if you were to have a fish-only system or something, you'd really want to go this route for nutrient export. But here's what we got out. Quite a bit. It's like some nice green. Very, very green. Could almost roll that up or something. But yeah, it's nice. And, just smack it around a bit. Get a little squeeze. But, very effective. And if you have concerns about your tank looking horrible with tons of algae and you don't know what to do, and you're throwing in a bunch of cleanup crew and they're all dying and everything kind of sucks, just hang in there and have one of these in your sump. And just be patient. Eventually the algae will grow along the side and then you can just harvest it. And I get that you can buy like fancy tech for turf scrubbers or whatever people are doing nowadays. Or you could just use like essentially a free bucket. Just put some holes in it. Whatever you're into, whatever is effective and what works for you. Some people like tech, I'm more of a OG kind of person, experiment around, but worth doing. You know, it'd really help your system out. Just for fun, here's another one. This is a some kind of large bucket placed inside a brute trash can for a fish system. Just in case anything like tiny wrasses or gobies go over, it's a secondary trap. Obviously this light is nowhere near powerful enough, and we need to swap it out for an LED with ribs, hinting that it's more powerful. You could just read the specs. But eventually what we'll have in here is just a bunch of algae growing around, and it'll be nice. Probably ideally a white bucket, but it'll come around. We'll swap the light out. And then, you know, all that heavy in, heavy out export of nutrients make everything better and the system function a lot cleaner. And just, you know, build one or buy a turf scrubber. But don't give up if you're dealing with algae. There's always like a horrifically simple resolution to the problem, and you can just like do it in two minutes easily. Anyway, have a good one. Good luck. Actually, one more thing. If you're feeling crazy and you maybe have like soft coral or fish only system or something where it may not matter that much as far as coral warfare, you could do something like this. But the only difference is, imagine, okay, starting off, there's this container. From the bottom up, there is going to be a piece of egg crate, and then on top, there's going to be a piece of plastic mesh, about like that, about the little. And then on top of that, coarse rebel. And what you can do is slap a little light on there, fill it up with xenia, and basically you could put this, if you're feeling really weird and you do it in alternative ways, this could be above your like, I don't know, well, I've seen people do dump buckets above their canopy, but you know, above your canopy, if you know what you're doing, in your sump. But like, have a T coming off your main return and a little bit of water coming in. It flows in here, and your xenia, or like a filter, and they'll load, this whole thing will be filled with it, and the water will flow through and down. So there's nothing, well, there could be a chance that the xenia get to your main system, but the thing is, it's going through like an under gravel filter, and it's coarse enough to where it won't matter. And by the time they get down there, they may not have enough light to function properly and make it into the main system. And it's real simple. All you do is just take a little piece and like cut off the xenia in your trash can. Just take a section and then clean that rock with like bleach, and then put it in the light. You know, make sure all of the organic material is off of it first. And once it's dry, set it back in. You can harvest like here, here, here. And you're pulling out nutrients, and just make sure your xenia are going. And I think they do this when they need nutrients, and if they're doing nothing, I think that means something else, like they're satisfied. More research to be done. It's something common knowledge, but anyway, you could just build something like this. And it's also another method if you didn't want to have algae in your system, like, if you have no issues, but you want to lower nutrients again somehow. But just another method, a different way of sucking it out. Kind of interesting. Probably takes up some trace minerals, but you know, same with algae, you know, skimmers do something probably. But something to think about, something you can use. Some people could use like this, but they have a line that goes in, like there's a track, and it goes in, down, in, down, in. And you fill that up with xenia or caulerpas or something, and you know, whatever it takes to get it out of your main system so it's pristine. Anyway, thanks. Have a good one.